right, so let's get the ball rolling. Got a whole new topic. This is part 2 of the Mad Hatter interview. So let's begin here. Um, so we know that there exists an entire new community for makers worldwide. This is a Jumpstart program that, well, not by the company Jumpstart, but this is a pretty much brand new thing that nobody seems to have done before. So basically, what the UMA is trying to do is recruit makers from all over the world to be in one community so that we can share ideas and get inspired and just talk to other fellow members of the community. So why did you decide to join the UMA?
Well, that's a good question. I was asked. I'm part of a few makers groups on Instagram and on Discord, and I got picked up by someone you know very well at Mindchaser. Go check him out on Instagram. And he asked me from his point of view. He thought, well, you're going to be a good person to join in and help us get this off the ground. So I joined in. I was a bit skeptical at first, but then I saw you guys' mission statement and the way you were treating this. I actually got to know a little bit more inside knowledge on what the UMA can become, and I was stumped. I was like, "Wow, no one ever thought of this." Because you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, and there's lots of ways to find out how people make certain things. You can look up knife making on YouTube and you will find tons of videos about knife making.
Mhm.
But what we're missing is a platform where you can actually connect as a maker with another maker, or
Yeah.
cross connect to other people's things they make. For instance, if you were young and starting, or older and starting, robot suit maker, and you're good with hydraulics and you're good with the metalworking part of it,
Yep.
but you need computers to actually make the suit function, and you are not able to do the coding right. Where you're going to find someone with experience on coding those sort of things?
Yeah.
How are you going to find that person and actually connect with that person?
Yep.
That's where the UMA comes into place. The entire mission statement, if you read it, it's made by makers, not by a big corporation that wants to make money. This is for makers by makers.
Yep.
And there's so many different levels out there of people making things as a general thing. If it's pottery or sculpting or
Yep.
coding or video editing, or there's so many people doing stuff out there that isn't being seen at this point.
Yeah.
Because you simply don't have the audience for it. If you look at my profile on Instagram, I've got like 16 or 1700 followers. There's knife makers out there that have 200,000-300,000 followers. So how are you going to reach that audience? Well, that's where the UMA comes into place.
Yeah.
If you looked at, for instance, the launch trailer and how that did, and what that did for the people involved in that launch trailer, that was insane. We did a launch on Christmas Eve, and Reddit exploded. We got like 37,000 upvotes in a matter of hours. It was insane.
Yeah.
The spin-off from it. Me personally, I've gained hundreds of followers and at least to say a couple of customers out of it from Christmas until now. And it's UMA spin-off. But for most people, it's not just about getting that audience. It's more for connecting, getting the knowledge, how to proceed, or being able to ask someone about this process and actually getting an answer. Because on Instagram, I found myself as a young and starting knife maker, people were really reluctant to answer questions.
Yeah.
So if I saw a really nice etch on a blade and I contacted the guy and said, well, how does your etching process work? Yeah, I'm not going to share that with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're down on your luck again and still trying to figure stuff out for yourself. And UMA will grow into, in my opinion, a couple of directions. yes, the connecting with each other, yes, the cross connections that can be made within the platform, um, but also the master classes we've been talking about.
Mm,
Actually being able to connect with someone probably a lot of skill levels higher than yourself, and actually being able to ask questions or seeing their process in real life, or
mm.
through the internet,
Yep.
or whatever way we can find to connect people with each other. UMA will be something huge in not a matter of years, but in a matter of months.
Yeah.
This is the next platform for makers to have that connection with each other,
Mm,
to get your message out there, to actually be seen by people. Because we already have a couple of really big people in the UMA already.
yeah.
For instance, look at yourself, the amount of following you have. That's a podium I will never get myself that easy.
Mm,
So yeah, UMA will be a big thing, not only for established makers, but also for starting makers,
yeah.
for teaching people the ways to fine tune their process.
Mm.
Um, so I think the UMA will be very big in just a matter of months.
Yeah. I mean, that
So, so
kind of,
fast.
yeah. I mean, I saw with my growth in 2020, there is a community for that. There are people that like to see other people make things, and it is very much there. People don't think it is, but it is. I mean, look at, the Hacksmith and his success. I mean, he has, over 10 million follower or subscribers on YouTube. Um, Pretty sure over 500,000 on Instagram. I mean, um, but a lot of those, are fans, but like, I just wonder like how many of those people are makers also, um, and it's like, I'm just surprised that nothing exists yet where, it's like a single platform or a single system where makers from any other platform can all come together and, share ideas and talk. Which is why,
Exactly.
what we've done is we've used every platform to become pretty much this gigantic social media ball where you can kind of enter from any direction. So if you're on Facebook, cool, we have a Facebook page. You're on Instagram, all right, we have an Instagram. You like YouTube, well, we're on YouTube. We're everywhere you go, we're there with you. So um lots of people have come from Reddit, lots of people have come from Instagram, and even
Oh, yeah, yeah,
TikTok will be a huge thing too in March and April and throughout probably the rest of the year. So the drive is there, the people are there, but there needs to be something, a single destination where people can go to connect with each other, and that's what we're trying.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
so I
And
think
for
that,
me, the sharing and learning part of it all, that's the most important.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm really curious about how this is going to progress.
Mm,
I have the utmost trust this will be huge in a matter of
yeah.
months.
What do you think it'll be in
Absolutely.
like the next like 2 to 5 years? Like, what do you think it'll be?
Well, I have been dreaming about this. So if you look at my ideas for the UMA, and I've shared them with you. Of course, the master classes, as I like to call them, but
Mm,
nobody's a master, because when you're a master, you stop learning and there's nothing new to learn. But I know there are really well established makers out there that can explain their process and would be up for it as well to show their process.
yeah.
So the learning part of it, the connecting part of it, getting people together from different direction, different layers. If you want to start doing a YouTube channel, like I just recently started, Madhatter Knives on YouTube.
Nice.
I've just gained such an utmost respect for YouTubers at this point, because video editing is so tough to do.
Yeah.
It's not something you're going to learn in like 5 minutes, and you'll have an amazing video on YouTube.
Mhm.
That takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work. So if you can connect with someone that has that level of experience,
Mm,
that person is able to teach you something,
yeah.
that would be great. But the next thing I'm seeing happening is UMA being a jumpstart platform for new businesses.
Mm,
Um,
Yeah.
We had such a beautiful example of that when we launched on Reddit,
Hmm.
the launch video. We had a guy that replied with stating he's a surfer and he was going to lose his foot this year due to surgery.
Oh my
He
God.
already got connected with someone that was able to make custom made prosthetics. So
God.
my vision for this is not only people getting more attention to their personal profiles or selling stuff they make,
Mhm.
but there are going to be companies born out of the UMA helping
Yeah.
people in need. We got a couple of guys in the UMA building like exoskeletons and being able to do things not humanly possible.
Yeah.
So my dream from that would be, how about we all come together and help people out, build stuff from giant workshops where we can all work together.
Yeah.
Thoughts about that we shared before. I say dare to dream big.
Yep.
If we can really be that jumpstart for other people to show them how to build a business out of this,
Mhm.
and being there for those in need, or um, just building cool stuff that will make this planet a better place.
Mhm.
Um, well, that's the big dream, I guess.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I would love to, and I am eager to have a place, a base of operations where we can all someday hopefully work out of, because um, I also want to do the master classes as well. I think that is an absolutely phenomenal idea. There's really such a demand for master classes, whether it be coding or blacksmithing. Like I'd love to learn blacksmithing, but like, you know,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like there's so many people that want to learn this stuff, but they don't know where to go. They don't know who to turn to. And it's like, I lived in a small town for 22 years of my life, and nobody around me did the things I do. And I felt very alone. And I don't want other people to feel that, not to get too personal, but I don't want people to feel alone. This is a very, we're living in times right now where a lot of people are feeling alone more than ever. Unfortunately, I'm glad this didn't happen when I was, like 16 or 17. I would have felt awful. Um, so the demand for this is huge, and it needs to happen very soon. We are going to be trying to get as much done as we possibly can this year, and hopefully in 2022 or 2023 we can maybe establish a base of operations. Don't know how we'll do it, but we will try our absolute humanly best to make it
One
happen.
step at a time. If
Yep.
you see where we are at this point, that's crazy already. You got
Yep.
like thousands of followers already on the UMA account.
Yep.
People subscribing daily.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, this is going to be huge, and this is going to be a life changer for people.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I'm 100% sure of that. We're going to change lives through the UMA.
Yeah. And it's like, what you said about having people's businesses grow off of this, that's like, it's just there's so many things that could come from this by joining, because once the audience grows, and it will, I know it will, because the people are there. Once it grows, um, it's just going to all interconnect. And if somebody decides to join and they have, like you, a knife making business, and they have a social media page, YouTube and Instagram, they come join us, and it's like all it takes is one mention of some really good content, and there you get all those people coming at you just from that one
Instantly.
post.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
it's unreal. And it's like I don't see anything else like that that's out there really. I just don't. And it's not, and if there is, it's not tailored for just makers. It's not really tailored to anything. It's just kind of a generic, like, hey, we'll get your post out there, but it's a one-time thing. It doesn't really um it's too broad, but this is very centralized. It's very streamlined to makers only, and just for makers by makers. This isn't a big corporation, like you said. This isn't, a big tech company. This is a bunch of people who make stuff who want to help other people. That's what it's all about, and it's what it will continue to always be about. Um, so I'm very passionate about it, and I feel that in the next 5 years, we'll definitely have a base of operations. By 2025, I feel we'll definitely have somewhere I may be even be living out of it. I don't know. I may just throw up a one of those barn dominiums, and just have it as, I don't care. I'll do it. I want somewhere where we can all work out of, we can all come together. I've already had tons of people within the UMA who have opted to move across the country to live up where
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
it,
That's
I
crazy.
mean, it is such a it's such a movement. I mean, this is a maker movement. And I know there's things like FIRST and there's things like STEM, but it's like this is so much more personalized, I feel. Like you can have like those competitions, you can have like, the get-togethers and the meet and greets, but it's like that stuff doesn't happen all year, all the time. Like you can't just, I don't know, talk to those people all the time. Like this is something where the community is always going to be there and it will continue to be there. And you can talk to them any
Absolutely.
time of day, 24/7. You can ask any questions. It's not like, you have to, look up for hours on YouTube, like how do you code an exosuit? Like you can literally talk to people who do that all the time, like
Absolutely.
that's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. Um, and it's like from that, you're going to have these amazing makers sparking inspiration in other makers who will get inspired. And then they're going to continue. And it's going to start. I'm telling you, we're going to be like the next Bill Nye for makers. It's going to spark that entire new generation.
Absolutely.
I'm telling
Absolutely.
you, it's going to happen. I know it will. Um, so, um, trying to get off the passion train here. It's so easy to this is stuff I think about all the time. So but I'm glad, most of all you're a part of it. I'm glad that everybody else is a part of it. We have a great team. So let's reel it back to you. So um what would your advice be to, speaking of younger makers, what would your advice be to a maker who is just starting out in the field that you're doing?
Okay. Well, again, good question. Invest in personal safety equipment. So when you're making knives and you're working with angle grinders and you're working with forges and you're working with sparks flying everywhere and you're working with dust,
Yeah.
that's really bad for your health. So get a good set of glasses, get a good mask to keep dust out of your lungs.
Yep.
Change out your masks regularly because your own personal health is most important. You can't make knives when you're sick in the hospital. So
Yeah.
invest in your own personal safety. If you're new to using power tools or not sure on how to use power tools correctly, get someone that has more experience than you and explain how things work
Yeah.
and what you need to be careful about. So yeah, safety is a number one issue. Lots of people get hurt by small mistakes.
Yep.
Forgetting your safety glasses will lend you a trip to the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's something I can't stress enough, personal safety.
Yeah.
Um, on the other hand, the money you make out of selling your knives, invest it back in your company. Don't spend it on your friends or outside or drinking in a bar. Invest it back in your company. Always invest back in your company because you're going to want to expand your workshop. You want a beautiful 2x72 grinder that's going to set you back like $2,000. You're going to have to work for it.
Yep.
At this age, we all know Santa Claus doesn't exist and stuff doesn't come for free.
Yep.
You have to work for it.
Yeah.
And I started out with cheap tools. I had a little woodworking belt grinder that set me back like $100. I still use that thing today. After 4 or 5 years, I still use that thing today, mainly for polishing my blades because it has a low RPM. And so invest back in your company. That's the biggest and best tip out there.
Mhm.
And if you really want to make money out of what you do, about when you're selling knives, think about what cost you are going to make. So it's not only the materials, it's your electricity bill, it's write off on your power tools. Vacuuming your shop costs you time.
Mhm.
Um, PayPal transaction fees,
Yep.
because PayPal wants money for any transaction you do.
Mhm.
Um, write that stuff down and then make a number. Then set that number and keep that number in mind. Check regularly with your competition, because nobody likes someone that undercuts prices. Like, if I would sell this one, I would say like $400.
Hmm.
Now comes along another guy and it says, "Oh, I can make the same knife for $150."
Mm.
That's not cool. So there's a bit of ethics there that you need to understand beforehand before you start selling stuff.
Mhm.
And make sure people transfer their money before you send out any blade to anyone.
Mhm.
Trust doesn't buy you anything.
Yeah.
So money buys you stuff. So they pay you and then you send out your blade.
Mhm.
So that's something you need to keep in mind of, because there are still people out there trying to rip you off. So be careful about that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best tips to start anyone off. And you don't need power tools. You don't need a 2x72.
Mhm.
You can use a standard file to make a knife.
Yeah.
You have a filing jig built in like 15 minutes, and you can make a knife perfectly without a 2x72. So
Yeah.
start small and work your way up.
Mhm.
And if you see something you don't understand, ask as many questions as you can.
Mhm.
It will be tough in the beginning, because if someone sees a small starting up account with all kinds of questions about how I make my knives, for instance,
Mhm.
um, I might not give you the feedback you want.
Yeah.
That happens a lot on Instagram, it happens a lot on YouTube, it happens a lot on Facebook. But keep going. Keep
Yep.
going at it. Never give up, and you'll get there. You'll
Mhm.
get there.
So how long does it, like, with your experience, like with all the time that you've put into it, how long from like when you started out did it take to learn, like how to make a knife and make like the handles, and how long did it take to learn how to do that?
Well, for me, it's been like 4 or 5 years. So I'm
Yeah.
still learning every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a difficult question, because I've seen crazy talented people out there. I was on Reddit yesterday on what's the channel r/knife making,
Mhm.
and there was like a guy that posted his first blade, and I was like, "Wow, is that your first blade?" I can't believe it, because it was beautiful, such an eye for detail, such a beautiful finish on it, and the guy was literally 18 years old and only been knife making for a year.
God.
So
Oh, jeez.
I didn't know I was creative for a very long time. I've only started doing this like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm 39. So if you're 16, 17, 18, or 12 and you think you want to make knives, have at it, try it.
Mhm.
You might have a talent for it, a knack for it that you didn't know you had before you started.
Mhm.
For me, it didn't come easy. It's been a lot of hard work.
Yep.
But some people have a natural God-given talent.
Yeah.
You'll never know if you have it if you don't try.
Yeah.
So um, it might take you a while, it might not. So
Mm.
yeah, just have at it, give it a try. You'll never know if you don't try. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I completely agree. You never know if you don't take that first step and just try it out. So do you and I think you've already answered this before, but do you know any other people that do kind of the exact same thing that you do? And like if so, like where do you find these people?
okay, I actually prepared for this question, because hold on, hold on, I prepared this question. Oh my god, let me check. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. There are about 3,500 makers I follow on Instagram alone,
Oh my God.
and like 100 or 200 more on YouTube I follow. So that's a long list, and I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But I do have a short list of very exceptional makers I'd like to share with you guys. So here we go. This is for now all on Instagram. So get out your pen and paper and write with me. But at Majime Knives, extremely talented guy. Is in the Japanese style of blade making. Beautiful blades, beautiful handle work, truly exceptional blades. At Pariah Knives, do check him out. Again, beautiful knives. Is really, really high standard that he has for delivering his blades. So if you're into ray skin leather on your blade and Makuma games and really exceptional stuff, go check him out at Pariah Knives. A personal buddy of mine at Holden Knives makes really beautiful knives, really talented. A blacksmith I just have to mention, which is at Basil Artist. Truly exceptional stuff. A real true blacksmith artist, makes beautiful stuff. Go check him out at Basil Artist. Buddy of mine, CCK Custom Knives, CCK_custom_knives, makes beautiful folders. Truly exceptional stuff.
Awesome.
Titanium Damascus blades, really exceptional stuff. A more local guy, IP Knives_Belgium. Again, in the Japanese style of blades. If I would be able to own one of his blades, that would be awesome. He makes beautiful stuff. A guy from my own country, at Storm 3D Knives. Go check him out at Storm 3D Knives. More in the bushcraft and that sort of blades, but he makes beautiful blades. Lots of hybrid stuff, epoxy and burl crossovers on the handles. Absolutely beautiful. And if you like it a little bit more toned down, a little bit more basic, go check out at Iron Bone Knives. That guy makes beautiful stuff. It's just exceptional through simplicity. So check those guys out. That's my short list for so far. How do I get in touch with these people? Well, you just message them and you get a message back or not. I'm also on Makers of Instagram, in a small Instagram group with fellow makers, blacksmith, knife makers, sword makers.
Nice.
UMA group, of course, with you guys. I'm also on Discord. So that's probably the places I go mostly to talk to people and get feedback or just show my stuff. And there's a couple of cool groups on Discord. I'll pop it up now because I haven't prepared that. Hold on. So the Blade Spectrum is one of the Discord groups I'm in. It's more selling blades, showing off your blades. I'm in the Young Makers Club on Discord, and of course the United Makers Association on Discord. So that's the places I go to share or to ask or just have a talk with my fellow makers.
Awesome. That's really good to know. I can put all those in the description in the video as well. So everybody can kind of see what those accounts are and where to find them. Cool. Yeah. So where do we find you on social media? We know you have an Instagram, a YouTube.
I recently started a YouTube channel like a couple of weeks back. One video is up. That's the UMA trailer. But I've got some big plans for my own channel because I want to share my work. I want to share my process. I want to share with people how I do stuff. I'll do step-by-step build-ups for blades, and I'll even provide the templates. And I'll go into great detail about my process during those step-by-steps. You can build along with me. So you can try knife making out, and I won't make it difficult. Just your basic tools everybody has in the shed.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that. Madhatter Knives on YouTube. Madhatter, one word, and then a space and then knives, and then you will find me. I'm on Instagram at Madhatter Knives. I'm on Facebook, Madhatter Knives. Am I skipping anything? No, I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. So that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't have a website because, again, I don't build or make knives in advance. Everything is 100% custom made. So, yeah, a website wouldn't do much for me other than showing off the stuff I'm already showing on different socials I'm on.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been a real need for it up till now. So perhaps in the future a website, but for now, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, when we get the UMA website up, we'll definitely have you on there as well. So you will be on a website at some point. So
yes,
come.
finally. Mission achieved.
Yeah, so we look to have the website completed by November of 2021. That's the current estimate. Obviously, a lot of factors play into that, but it will definitely be done by the end of this year, before December, I would assume,
I can't wait.
because there's so many things that go into it, and we're tying in, you know, 7 different social media platforms, and we're going to somehow tie that into one website so that people can kind of go from the website to the platforms and vice versa. So um, it's a lot of very interconnecting. The website is going to be pretty much the main web of the UMA. So, from the website, we can find makers like yourself, or me, or hundreds of other people that are joining us. So it's going to be a huge thing. So, um, yeah, I think that is all the questions I have. This has been an amazing interview. I'm so glad I took the time.
Same here. Same here.
This has been so many different things I didn't know about you and your story, and from how you started to making knives to how you custom tailor your knives to a person's needs. I mean, this has been interesting, and I actually learned a lot that I didn't know about you before. So this is we'll have to do this again, and once the UMA gets some good traction, we'll have to do this again and talk about our progress. Maybe things may accelerate a bit. I don't know. But yeah, we'll definitely have to do this again during the summer or the fall. So
I really enjoyed the interview as well. So thank you very much for it.
of course, of course. Well,
Yeah.
I will send off here. Have a good rest of the day, Mad Hatter, and I look forward to
You as well, my friend.
showing what you're doing.
Buy my blades. Buy my blades.
At
Have a
some
good one.
point. All right. Have a
Bye,
good one.
man. You.